Hi, you guys. Welcome to Money Series number 5, your Get Started reading list. Now, there's quite a few books here. Don't be afraid. You're not going to read all of them. I haven't read all of them, but a lot of them are awesome. And so I'm going to tell you my very favorites, the ones that are the must-reads, and I'm going to give you a whole bunch of options. Now, even right now during COVID, you guys could go on a super fun field trip to the library. You can pull a lot of the books that I'm going to show you from this reading list off the shelves. You can find out for yourselves what you'd like to read. Bring them home and get started. You could even go on a field trip with a friend and find the reading list to start. But this is where you're going to start, you guys. One of the most important things about making money and investing is that you're always reading, you're always expanding your mind, you're always growing and learning, and this is where we begin. So probably the number one book when it comes to learning how to invest that I personally like. Not everybody is going to like it, but it's a great start, is this one right here called Invested. It's written by a daughter, and that's Danielle, and her father is Phil, and he's a fantastic investor, and she doesn't like it so much. And so it's a 1-year plan from beginning to end on investing. And so this is a really great book to read. If that's not your style, pull this one up. Phil Town's Rule Number 1. And I really like this one. This one gave a lot more detailed spreadsheets and numbers, and if you're numbers, you'll appreciate this book. One of the other ones that I absolutely adored, and this is a very easy read, is called The Dhandho Investor by Mohnish Pabrai. In fact, that's a fantastic thing to do. You guys could look up Mohnish Pabrai and listen to him on some YouTube videos that you find. I love him. You know, he's so down to earth. He wears his running shoes. He wants to be comfortable. Just, one day if I ever got to meet him, I would be so honored because he's a cool dude, this guy. So, The Dhandho Investor, really fast, easy read. Really awesome. One of the other ones by Phil Town, now I haven't read this one, it's called Payback Time. There's another good one. My sister has read this. This belongs to her, and so she would recommend this one. Let's see where else we can go here with investing. Classic. Benjamin Graham, The Intelligent Investor. These are sort of where you'd start if you wanted to learn how value investing works. Value investing is essentially Warren Buffett, Charlie Munger. If you've heard of Berkshire Hathaway, then these are the guys who, well, they run it right now. We'll see how long that lasts. They are aging quite a bit. If you've ever drank in a Coca-Cola product, Berkshire Hathaway owns Coca-Cola, and Warren Buffett was a follower of Benjamin Graham. Heads up, you know, this is a popular guy. So The Intelligent Investor is another must read. Now, what else? This one is The Wealthy Barber, or in this case, The Wealthy Barber Returns. But my dad read The Wealthy Barber years ago and said that it was a must read. I like this fellow. Anyways, this is also a really good book, so pick this one up and read this one. Okay, now, let's see. This is another awesome book. Also a must read. If you're breathing and working, you should read this book. Okay? Where else? I love this guy, Kevin O'Leary. He just doesn't mess around. Your feelings are your feelings, and he's going to tell you like it is, regardless of your feelings. And I really like that. So this particular book by Kevin O'Leary, it cuts right to the point, just like cuts through any crap and gets telling you exactly what you need to know. A ton of good things in this book. I really like Kevin O'Leary. You might not like him. You don't have to like him, but he gives some good advice. So read the book. Okay, where are we going from here? Some of the other things on my reading list that I've sort of started. This is a little bit harder, I think. You know how in one of my other money series videos I talk about you have to immerse yourself in a language in order to read, in order to understand. Even this one for me, and I've been investing for 15 years, I'm only about right there. It's slow going. I feel like David Einhorn maybe has something to prove, but I got to get into it more. And seems like a brilliant man. Lots of money there. This one was super cool. Narrative Economics by Robert Shiller. If you're into investing, you may have heard of the Shiller P.E. ratio. Well, I started reading this book probably a few months before COVID, and it takes you through pandemics. Incredible. I recommend this book. Let's see. Now, one that we battled over whether we liked it or not was this one right here. I took the cover off, but it's called The Education of a Value Investor by Guy Spier. Now, I have no knowledge of who Guy Spier was, except that I've heard him talked about by some of the other people that I follow. I really enjoyed the book. This was a really good, easy read. I wondered though if Guy Spier had it hard or had it easy, but still a fun book to read. And he went from investing one way and monetizing his hedge fund one way, and then completely changing. And actually, Guy Spier, and here's what I'll say about him: he's really good friends with Manish Pabrai, which was the one who I recommended for the Dondo investor. And so big points to Guy because he's buddies with Manish. So I would say read that one. Now let's see here. Here's another one that people would recommend. I personally haven't read this book, but I do like Tony Robbins. And if you've watched any of my other videos, you know that I like Tony Robbins priming. And I think that Tony Robbins has a bunch of friends who are very financially successful. So he probably got a lot of good tips from them. So there's another good book for your reading list. I'll write these all down so that when you go on your field trip to the library, you'll see everything we talked about. Some of these that I'm going to recommend are not going to be investing books. Some of these are going to be just good books to develop yourself. I've heard of this one is another really good book. So there's one that you guys can look at. I'll start making another pile over here. Another great one. I adored this book. This one really brought to light what my personal strengths were and maybe what my weaknesses were. If you can pick up, I think that they're probably on a version a lot deeper than 2.0, but pick up a Strength Finder book, you guys, and do some self-exploration there. You'll be pleased you did. Let's see. Another one would be Outliers by Malcolm Gladwell. The Story of Success. There's another good one to look at. And then let's see here. Oh man, I splurged and got this one. Poor Charlie's Almanac. So this guy on the front is Charlie Munger. Let's see if we can find a different one. I adore this book. Part of what I like it is that it's just It's just really easy to read. It's expensive. I mean, like it's probably over $100, and it's big and thick and heavy and worth it. So check out Poor Charlie's Almanac. If you can get your hands on a copy of this, you'll be doing well. So I like that one a lot. Here's another great one. Who Moved My Cheese? I was going through a divorce, and I felt really stuck in a rut. My mom picked this book up and handed it over to me and said, read this. Things are always going to change, and this gives you some hints on how to stop whining about it and change and move, and don't get stuck in the rut. So I highly recommend Who Moved My Cheese. Who's that by? Spencer Johnson, I think. Yeah, do that. All right, let's go to another one down here by hold on, not these guys. We'll talk about those in a minute. But one of my other favorite fellows is Tim Ferriss. And he has a few books. This one is called Tribe of Mentors by Tim Ferriss, and it is just stories of people. It's so awesome. Like that page right there said, busy is a decision. Ego is about who's right. Truth is about what's right. I love this book. This is a really easy read. You don't have to read it from front to back, but Tim Ferriss has done all the work for us to talk to people who have fantastic advice. Pick this book up. Okay. We have another one by Tim Ferriss. I'm sort of hiding it under here, right under the computer as I'm making it. So we'll just put that down. Tools of the Titans. Also, fantastic book. So you guys make sure that you put this on your reading list. Almost actually anything by Tim Ferriss is fantastic. He, like I said, he does all the work for us. And he's so awesome to read. Thanks, Tim. I doubt he'll ever watch this video, but I mean, if he did, you're amazing. Thank you for everything. Now, here is a fellow. Oh, man. I try to collect every book from this series, okay? The Rules books by Richard Templar. Man, this got me through moving from the bottom to the middle. Rules, so he has a few. The Rules of Parenting, The Rules of Life, The Rules of People. Again, you guys, these are really, really easy books. He just has rules on every page. He just goes through, that's how it is. You can just read the rules. They're so easy to read. Oh, I loved this one, The Rules of Work. His name's not even on the front of that. The Rules to Break, for all of us rule breakers. That would be me. Rules of Management. These are all Richard Templar's. The Rules of Wealth. Oh, it's just awesome. Get some money mentors. Good advice, Richard. What's this one? The Rules of Parenting. What do we have? 2 of these? Maybe one's a second edition. I should gift this one to my sister. And The Rules of Love. Oh, look at that. Keep your finances separate. Every page we open is on finances. I have to agree with that. Keep your finances separate. So those are some awesome, really easy reading books just to keep you inspired and to keep you going. Now, I'm going to go into a couple more that are not about finances, but are just really, really interesting reads. And if you're the kind of person who can put together analogies and similes and metaphors, and you really like contemplating comparisons between one system and another system, then here's the list of books that I recommend. And so I'll just be right back with you. I forgot one book. I have to go grab it and add it to our list. 1 second. Okay, there it is. The Art of War. When I am in the middle of option trading and I have to take a little minute, I sometimes go read this book, and it is so excellent to compare The Art of War to option trading. I love this little book. Here's another one that I do the same thing with. This one is called The Hidden Life of Trees. What an amazing book this one is. I think this was left on an airplane and found in the lost and found in our office one day, and we couldn't get it back to anybody. But this guy goes into the forest, or he's a forester. That's his field of expertise, and he learns about trees, and it's amazing. It is amazing what we don't know about trees. Respect the trees. Fantastic book. All right. These three go together, and it starts with this one, The Four Agreements. Awesome. And then you can get the companion book and the Fifth Agreement. So these are 5 rules, 5 agreements that you should make with yourself and not break them. Like, I'll just read you the front cover. Be impeccable with your word. Don't take anything personally. How hard is that? Don't take anything personally. I need to remind myself that all the time. Don't make assumptions. No kidding. Awesome. Don't make assumptions. Always do your best. And then the 5th one is be skeptical, but learn to listen. I'll tell you, in this lockdown, those are some good agreements. Highly recommend that book, those 3 books. Okay. One of my all-time favorites in life, you can see how well read it is called Women Who Run with the Wolves. What this one is this doctor, Clarissa, she goes into different tribes and talks to the elders and different cultures, and she finds the oldest version of a story and gets them to explain it. And then with her Ph.D, she unpacks the stories and the meanings behind the stories, and not just for women, but men, get after it. That's a good one right there. I absolutely adore this. I adore this book. Okay. Parent Effectiveness Training. Okay? By who's this by? By Dr. Thomas Gordon. This was a really old book. I got it over 20 years ago before I had my first kid. And this book teaches you active listening. And why that's really important is because if you ever want to draw your children out and get them to talk to you and tell you things, if you ever want to hold a good conversation, this is going to give you the training for that. This is a book that I would say is a must read for every parent, for sure, and for every individual who plans on being more than an employee. If you plan on moving up from an employee to a management position, you're going to need this book, okay? Do this book. It'll help you get the most out of your conversations. All right, we're going to save those 2 for last. Here's another one that I absolutely adore. I read this book probably around the same time that I read Parent Effectiveness Training, so well over 20 years ago. And what this book is about, it's about a different type of school. It's about a school that happens on a train. And essentially, if you've ever heard of the school called Montessori, this is essentially what it is and where it begins. But what it communicates is that there is another system than what we have been indoctrinated with in Western society. I highly recommend this, give you a new point of view on education, and that you can get to some of the same places through a different path. Highly recommend Totto-chan. All right, so I think that it's really good. Let's move these ones over. I guess we have 3 of them left. I think it's really good to stay connected to the creator. I say God, but you can say a higher power, you can say a creator, you can say whatever you want. I don't care. You do you. But I feel like it's really important to stay connected. Here's one that talks about using prayer to help you with your finances. This was another one on a financial reading list. There's a lot about gratitude. Gratitude is everything. So you may want to read that. And then, now, for my own personal children, you guys can find these books all over the house in different little spots. Pick yourselves up one of these. It's just a tiny little book full of different prayers. You guys, it helps to stay connected, and it helps to be grateful. It's hard to not be connected and grateful. So this is a list. You guys, I'll write it up in the description for you. And I hope that you enjoy your field trip to the library to go and find some of these, and that you find ones that really speak to you. And it's going to take you a while to read them, but if it's about investing that you really want to start, you guys, I'll just remind you the very first 3 that I talked to you guys about, which are absolute, find these at the library and read them, was this one, and this one, and this one. All right, so that's all for money series. What are we? Number 5, and it's your reading list. And go be amazing, and go be brilliant, and go expand. And I love you. Have an amazing day. Bye.